exciting episode. So you picked the right one to click on today. An update, if you will, on a company that everybody's going to eventually hear about, especially with the news we're going to bring you today. But first, let me just explain myself and introduce you to our guest is the CEO of Perimeter Medical Imaging. Remember these words, Perimeter Medical Imaging. The symbol on the TSX Venture is PINK. PINK, and you'll understand why once we get deeper into what exactly you do, Jeremy Sobotta. Tell us about, well, first let's talk about Perimeter. Perimeter Medical Imaging does what?
Yeah, thanks for having us again, Jody. We're excited to be here and share our updates. But for those who didn't see the first video, Perimeter Medical Imaging AI, we're an early stage medical device company commercializing imaging technology to help surgeons confirm that they've removed all of the cancer in a cancer surgery. So our beachhead market, as you alluded to with our ticker symbol PINK, is breast cancer surgery, and reoperations and breast conserving surgeries impacts about 25% of patients. And this happens because the surgeon doesn't have a way to confirm in the initial operation that they have in fact removed all the cancer. So they have to send that specimen to a lab. It can take anywhere from 2 days to a week or more for the surgeon to get the necessary information. And what our technology does is bring that microscopic imaging into the OR, into the hands of the surgeon in real time, so they can see right away whether or not they've removed all the cancer, thus avoiding all the costs and complications that go with the current state.
It is so exciting, just as you're reiterating, and I already know this story, but as you're reiterating, it's goosebump inducing because it is so prevalent. Breast cancer is so prevalent. We all know somebody, it's in my family. I have somebody who has just been through that process, and that window between surgery and finding out whether they got it all is the most horrifying of time. It's almost worse than the diagnosis, to be frank, on both the patient and the people who love the patient. So this is such an incredible piece of technology that is at the forefront of what Perimeter Medical Imaging is all about. PINK is easy to remember when we're talking about breast cancer. So now, if you wouldn't mind, Jeremy, can you take us through what is exceptional news for your company?
Yeah, this has been a very, very busy week for us. So maybe just to take a step back, the initial flagship version of our technology, we've been commercializing for, about 6 months or so, and are really excited about bringing that technology to market. It's actually indicated by the FDA for use on any human tissue type. So as we get it out in the hands of oncologists and surgeons, we're really excited to see where it goes beyond breast cancer. But as we move into our breast specific indication, we received approval from the FDA for our investigational device exemption on what is our pivotal randomized controlled trial. So this is a clinical study to take our flagship technology combined with AI and test the results of our technology compared to the standard of care in reducing those very reoperation problems I just talked about. So huge milestone for us. Our clinician community and the surgeons that are going to be participating in that study have been waiting with bated breath for this approval, and now we're finally ready to go.
It is so incredible. I'm at almost a loss for words, which is rare for me because I'm quite a talker. But I'm almost at a loss for words because when we talk so much about over the last, let's say, 10 years, maybe even 15 years, there have been discussions about the impacts that AI might have on medicine. And here we are standing at the precipice of something that could significantly shift how patients are treated and how lives are lived.
Precisely, yeah. And the example you just gave earlier, what a lot of our customers will tell us is, I can cut out all the cancer eventually. It might take me 2 or 3 tries, but what will really change the game is when I can cut out the fear for the patients, and that certainty to know that it was done right and done well the first time is a huge game changer. And, from the perspective of a breast cancer patient, survivorship on the whole is pretty good. Now what we're working on is improving quality of survivorship and quality of patient experience. And the AI for us is just the next level of unlocking that and ensuring that those surgeons have the best tools possible in their hands to cut out that fear.
In real time. That's a big part of this, just for people watching going, wait, I need to know what the company is again. Let me tell me so I can look it up right now and invest, because that's the opportunity here. Perimeter Medical Imaging. It's on the TSXV. The stock symbol is PINK. PINK. We're with the CEO, Jeremy Sobotta, who you're in Dallas right now, but the headquarters are actually in Canada, right? In Toronto?
Yeah, so we have kind of a dual headquarters. So our research and development is in Toronto. That's where the company was founded, and we are commercializing in the U.S. So we've received a regulatory clearance from the FDA and building out our U.S. and commercial headquarters here in Dallas. So a North American company for sure.
That's amazing. So many questions to ask, but really I have to remind myself that there are people watching or listening right now who don't know the full story. Can you give us just a little bit of an idea of what, when you said that surgeons, oncologists can have this technology in their hands and use it in real time, what does it look like?
Perfect. Yeah. So we use ultra high resolution real-time imaging. And so the way I describe our technology to most people is it's just like ultrasound. So a lot of people are familiar with ultrasound, but instead of using sound waves to look into the tissue, we use light waves. And because we're using light waves, we get 10 times higher resolution than ultrasound, 100 times higher than MRI. And that's really the level of resolution that these surgeons need to be able to see, in some cases, the microscopic disease that they're trying to identify when they're cutting it out of patients.
Wow, that's really something. How many times more higher resolution than an MRI?
100 times higher resolution.
Wow, that's
in
significant.
real time.
Now the sportscaster in my head is like, this technology could be used on many different fronts, many different applications, I guess would be the better way to lay it out. How broad, I mean, we're talking specific to breast cancer here and disease, but how broad could this eventually go in your estimation?
So as I said earlier, breast cancer is just our beachhead market, and in the OR, breast cancer is just our beachhead market. So really it's called margin assessment. The problem we're talking about of identifying cancer at the edge of the tissue that's been removed is called margin assessment. And that same problem exists in really any solid cancer. So think colorectal, lung, head and neck, prostate, liver, kidney, the list goes on and on and on. And our technology is really perfect for that use case because we provide that level of resolution to see that disease, but we don't show unnecessary parts of the specimen. So the technology is actually optimized to focus on the standard of care for that margin assessment.
Just that.
So
wow.
Just that exact. And then beyond the operating room, beyond in surgery, the same benefit could apply in biopsies or in pathology, which happens after the surgery as well. So we think we have both opportunities for kind of horizontal expansion across tissues, but also vertical expansion across the continuum of care.
This is incredibly exciting. Perimeter Medical Imaging is the name of the company. PINK is the symbol on the TSXV. CEO Jeremy Sobotta is with us, and it's something I just need to wrap my head around it. So is it a box with a wand? Is it a big machine that the patient is somehow put, like, what is it? Like, what is it? How much is it? I'm such a noob here.
No, I'd say it's a machine kind of the size of a dishwasher. A lot of our clinicians will say it's like Wall-E in the operating room with them. Okay. And so the surgeon cuts out the specimen and then they put it in our what's called a specimen immobilizer. So if you can imagine, think of it like we're taking a copy of something, but at microscopic level resolution. So
okay.
That specimen cannot move at all during that scan. Otherwise, you really get useless images that have too much distortion. So what the surgeon does is puts the specimen in a little dish tray kind of thing. That's our specimen immobilizer. Then they drop that whole thing in the Wall-E in our S series is the actual device name. And then they can take a scan there, and the scan generates the output on a touch screen on top of the scanner, and they can scroll through the different parts of the image, measure how far away from the edge the cancer is, and really get all of the information right there in real time in the OR. So pretty exciting.
That's really something. Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead.
from a how much it is perspective, this problem today is impacting about 25% of patients, as I mentioned earlier. Each patient that comes back costs an additional $16,000 in hard reoperation costs. So you have effectively a $4,000 cost per patient. And to acquire our technology, it's only $1,000. So you're investing $1,000 to avoid $4,000. So really a no-brainer, and one of those rare medical device technologies that's good for patients first and foremost,
Yeah.
good for providers, and good for payers as well.
Wow, this is quite something. Now, you said it was the S series. Are there other series?
Exactly right. Yes. So S series for us is our surgery series. So this is, as I mentioned, the technology that's indicated for use of evaluating any kind of human tissue. But then as we move into the tissue specific indications like breast AI, for example, that will become the B series for breast surgery. And then, the P series for pancreas or whatever it may be.
Got it. Got it. Wow, this is really fascinating, Jeremy. Tell us about the people behind this company. Who are you and your team?
Yeah, it's our management team comes exclusively from medical devices. So we are folks that have been there and done that in Medtech. I joined the company from Smith and Nephew, but spent most of my time with Stryker, a $80 billion market cap Medtech company, and was in business development for them for a long time, acquiring companies just like Perimeter over the years. And I had done a lot of diligence on this space because it's an exciting space that our customers were constantly saying, you need to find technology to solve this problem. It's the holy grail of breast lumpectomy when you can get this solved. Fortunately or unfortunately, back then, we didn't like any of the names looking at or trying to solve the problem. And so I was uniquely positioned when the Perimeter opportunity came across my desk because I was already very well versed on what margin assessment meant and loved the way that the company is solving the problem, differentiated with AI, with a business model that's scalable and can grow from a land and expand perspective. And then I'll also just touch on our chief commercial officer, very similar story. He was the national sales leader for a company called Faxitron. And what they did was sell intraoperative X-ray for breast surgeons to use to confirm that they've removed all of the navigation material that they put into the patient pre-op. So a different value proposition, but the same call point, same similar sales cycle. And he grew them from effectively their startup days to an install base of 7,000 units and a strategic exit to Hologic, which for us, an install base of 7,000 units is, call it $500 million in recurring revenue from that high margin razor blade side of our business model I talked about.
So when somebody's listening right now going, I'm in, how do I get in? How do I get more? How do I reach out? Where are they going?
Yeah, so they can go to our website first and foremost at perimetermed.com, and we have lots of info on the technology there, webinars with some of our key opinion leaders, and obviously an investor relations section with our our presentation deck and all of that good stuff. And otherwise, you can see all of our news under our ticker symbol under the venture exchange, PINK.
PINK, Perimeter Medical Imaging. Jeremy, you give us hope. This is very, very exciting. Please come back with any news, any updates that you might have along the way. It's just a pleasure following your story.
Definitely. Thanks for having us, Jody.
Take care.